Hi everyone, it's Rachel, and I am playing with my Boho snippets again. It's sort of an impromptu video, and um, so hopefully some people will come in, and if not, those of you who want to can watch it later. So first of all, as you know, I carry Boho scrap packs in my shop. And so I will put the link to my shop over on the right hand side. And I've been trying to do different tutorials on Sundays to share with you how to use these scraps. So you don't have to just use them for clusters or things like that. And so today I was thinking about how could you use fabric scraps to maybe wrap up a gift or something like that. So I was kind of thinking, I think that's what it's called. You'll have to help me out. And like, how could you make something that just looks beautiful using these beautiful scraps that are all different sizes and all different shapes? So that's sort of the thought that I had. And we're just going to kind of jump in just a couple of minutes here. So if you're coming in, please come on the right hand side. I will do some giveaways today of some things that I make. So if you say hello, you can be entered into those drawings. Weather's really nice here today. It's been very hot. We need rain here in Michigan. So I'm hoping some of you are having a very nice Sunday evening. Okay, so I did put my shop link over to the right. If you haven't picked up my Boho scrap kit, you may want to do that. I still have them as a daily deal for $8. And they're all brand new because I just spent all weekend cutting up new Boho fabric. So if you've already purchased a package from me, just know that the fabrics are different each time. So if you're wanting some more, you're going to get some totally different fabrics. So you'll see some of the fabrics that'll be in these kits. But I just kind of wanted to show you what I was thinking. So I decided to make this boho ribbon. And my thought was, how could I make something to wrap up a gift? So if this is a gift and I wanted to wrap it up, what would that look like? And so I was thinking, okay, I'm going to take my scissors here and we'll just snip this right here. And I thought, what a cute boho idea for somebody who loves boho like you do. You could just make this cute little topper on the top of a gift. And isn't that adorable? And the person, especially if they're a crafty person, can just untie this and use this adorable ribbon. You could use this however you use ribbon. It would be gorgeous to hang. This could even be hung outside if you wanted to. It could hang and bring some color to different places. So those are just some ideas. So we'll just get started. So then once I made all of this ribbon, I took it and I just took a note card and I thought, well, I need to be able to store this so it doesn't get all tangled up. And so I just wanted to wrap it up. So I wrapped it up like this. And then I used another piece of scrap fabric, which I'm not sure where I put it now. Oh, it's right here. Just to tie it up, to kind of store this. Hello, Sophia. Thank you so much for joining. This is going to be some great ideas for some of your beautiful fabrics that you have. I appreciate you joining. Thank you so much. So I just set it over to the side. So then once I did that, I was like, you know what? These would be really cool on note cards. And I grabbed some note cards and I just started stitching. Now, if you really wanted a boho feel, you should probably coffee dye these first, but I didn't want to do that. I just wanted to jump right in. But my thought was, okay, well, now that I have this, they're white, what can I do? I can simply just grab my Tim Holtz Distressing, and I'm going to grab a stencil here that will work. As I said, this was impromptu, so wasn't planning on videoing today, so I apologize. So here's a couple of the stencils that I like to use when I'm doing a boho theme. This one's just kind of like a paisley. It's hard to see, but you'll see it once I use it. So my thought was, well, then all you need to do is get your ink pad. And I'll use Tim Holtz Vintage Photo. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I thought they were really beautiful too, and that's why I decided to turn on the camera. I like to do sometimes is I'll just take a stencil, and you see I just slid it up under there. And you can just stencil your edges. And you have a beautiful journal card. Oh, that's awesome. Well, I'm hoping to inspire some people today. I have spent all day working in my Etsy shop, trying to get things loaded in there, and I'm excited because I'm getting ready to carry some new things in my shop. I'll be carrying some fabrics and some trims from Bangladesh. So those will be coming soon. And so I've been just kind of working. I have some scarves in there and just really trying to get some different fabrics and different items so we can use them over here. So these are just really simple. Then I thought, well, okay, if I have a way, we can tuck them in a pocket like this or tuck them in a pocket this way. Or this could even be put on a page and used as a tuck. You know, you could put it like this, and this could be the tuck, or you could put it this way and you could tuck in this way. Could be a great pocket. So you could tuck like this. You could add some gorgeous trim down here if you wanted to, just using up those scraps. So then I decided, well, let's stitch some on the top. So you can do the same thing. Let's go like this here. Sorry, I can't get my stencil to work. There we go. There we go. Sorry about that. Fingers were not working properly there. Oh, this is bent the wrong way. It goes like this. Okay. So then, using the same stencil, we can get a different design. And I have not tried those makeup brushes yet, but I'm really thinking about doing that. Let me know what you guys think if you've been using those brushes. Isn't that gorgeous? And it totally would work in a bohemian journal, but it would work in any journal. It doesn't just have to be a bohemian journal. I just love the rich silks and sari fabrics. And that's why I've been playing with the bohemian style for a while. Look at that. Same stencil, guys. Look at the different cards. So I'm not using a lot of supplies. I'm just using my Boho scrap kit, scrap pack, and I'm just using a stencil and a little bit of ink. I sometimes like to use this little stencil, and I'll show you what that looks like. Just gives another look. And you can, you know, just use parts of it. You don't have to use all of it. Let's just peek in here. There we go. And so you can do something like that. wonderful. I didn't realize that Bangladesh was your neighboring country. That's wonderful. Yeah, you guys have some amazing fabrics over there. I love your saris. I love all of your trims. I believe you guys call them laces. We call them trims here. And I just, oh, very envious of all the amazing, beautiful things that you guys have. We have beautiful fabrics and things here too, but you guys definitely have some gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous fabrics, trims, laces, and so on. All right, so this one I did a little bit lighter, so I didn't do a whole lot. You could also use your Tattered Angels Glimmer Mists if you wanted to spray. Thank you so much. All right, so anyway, I could go on and on and on. So let me kind of show you what I did. Oh, then I wanted to show you this. So then I made these little envelopes, and I just put the trim on top of these envelopes. And so they're just little mini envelopes, and you could distress them. You could do the same thing. Take your little stencil. And this one I'm gonna just do a little different motif. I like to use these Moroccan stencils because you can get a lot of different patterns by using different spots of it or different parts of that stencil. And then you can just go around the edges. And all this is just copy paper. So in my Etsy store, when I make the labels, I always get about a half a sheet or a third of a sheet left because I'm cutting the labels for the mail. And so I have been saving those sheets, trying to figure out what am I going to do with them. Well, today I decided to use them. So this one, I'm going to just do this flower in the corner. Isn't that sweet and adorable? Okay, so let's show you how I made these. Who else is in here? Please say hello over on the right-hand side. Have more of your beautiful fabric packs that you're going to be selling soon? Okay, I'm going to adjust the camera a little, so I'm going to apologize for shaking it. I don't have the best setup for sewing, but you can kind of see my plate here. So the next thing I did, or I don't know what you call it. Maybe you guys have a different name for it. I'm not really sure what to call it. In my mind, it reminds me of ribbon because I'm thinking about wrapping packages up, as I said. So all I do is just start with some pieces, and I like to use different weights and textures, and that's what I love about my boho packs is there's just all kinds of fabrics from India. It's not just sari, it's, you know, there's all kinds of just different fabrics, and they're just fun to play with. So I'm just adding different sizes. I'm not so much worried perfectly straight. In fact, this is perfect for all these little tiny pieces that you have left, like this, because you're going to use them up. Let me get a couple of blue pieces and we'll get started. All right, so I've just cut up various squares. Oh, I'm so sorry, it's buffering. And all I do is take and I put one, actually, let me use a lighter fabric here so you can see. I take and put the second fabric underneath the first fabric, and you can see just a little bit. I only put it under a little bit. And then I'm using a straight stitch with my sewing machine. So sorry that it was buffering. So I'm just taking the first fabric, the second fabric I'm laying underneath on an angle. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start sewing. So I'm going to apologize now because it's going to be a little bit noisy. And then I'm going to take each fabric and put it underneath the next one. So we'll start just a straight stitch. I'm using a 2.6 stitch. And then I like to stop about midway through and get my next piece ready. Now, what I love about all these different fabrics is that they can be scrunched up. So you can see this one's kind of a longer piece. That's okay. I'm just going to put it under like I did the other one. And the cool thing is you can ruffle the fabric a little bit if you want. You can sew over, make a couple of bends in the fabric if you'd like to. You can pretty much do whatever you want. And it just adds character and texture to your boho ribbon or bunting. And I use whatever color I have. I don't necessarily worry about trying to match the colors. You can do whatever you want, but it's beautiful when it comes out, so I don't worry about it. And then I get down to a few pieces. You want to cut some new ones because you don't want the pattern to repeat closely, or at least I don't. If you want that pattern to repeat, I'm not worrying about pattern. I'm just continuing to put more, just putting whatever I find in there. You can, of course, rip fabric, and you can use the ripped fabric on there. Gives it another look. You can use textured fabric. As I said, I'm using all weights of fabric, which is fun. And you just need little tiny pieces. Now you could do this with you could do this with any kind of fabric that you have. That's what I love about it. If you have tulle, you could add tulle into here. Just fun. So what are some other ways that you might use snippets or small fabric pieces? I tried to make fans. Some ladies here make fan-shaped borders with pieces of fabric. That is very interesting. Sophia, that's very interesting. I have not. I would be interested to see what that looks like because I am a quilter, and that would be very interesting. I think that would be beautiful because, as I said, the sari fabrics and the silk fabrics are just gorgeous. And maybe somebody else in here has tried to do that, but I love that idea of making fans because you don't, any type of applique, you don't need a lot of fabric. Sophia, do they put it on? Perfect. I would appreciate that. Yeah, if you would send me a picture in Messenger, I would love that. Do they put it on like a cotton or a muslin or something like that? What do they stabilize it on? Do you know? The other thing this is great for is if you have old clothing. So at Christmas time, I haven't done this yet, but I'm thinking I have a bunch of like plaid shirts that I've been kind of saving, and some men's dress shirts because I just love the fabric. So I'm thinking, wouldn't it be cool to make some of this bunting ribbon out of that? So here's what we've kind of made so far, you guys, and I have probably about 24 inches already. And we really, it doesn't take long. You just keep building. If you wanted to, you could just have a bunch of really small squares stacked up and to pull from. I don't do that because, often I'm using these pieces in larger pieces, so I just cut them as I go. But I think moving forward, as I start to get small pieces, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them in a separate bag. I might even put them in those Cantha bags that I purchased. I don't have very many left, but I have more coming from India. But I was thinking these little bags would be perfect for all these little scraps, these little tiny scraps, and I could just keep these on my desk and stuff the little ones in there so that I would have them. So that's kind of my plan. And then, I mean, you can just make yards and yards. Wouldn't these be gorgeous on Christmas gifts? I might just have to do some Christmas colored ones, or I might even do multicolored ones and use them on my gifts this year. I just think that would be beautiful. And it would be so unique to just have something different. It'd be great for all the people who love, you know, upcycled stuff and just handmade items. It's just another way to just make a beautiful gift. So I know nobody wants to hear about Christmas, but you guys, it's getting close and we're not that far away. So I'm always thinking about how can I make a really cool gift, because I love to do handmade gifts for my family and my friends. And usually when I don't do them, then people want to know why I didn't. So I started that a long time ago. And now people prefer handmade over store-bought gifts. So they also make triangle borders. Oh, okay. So are those triangle borders the folded fabric then? Because I have seen ladies take fabric and they will actually fold them. I'm not exactly sure how it works, but something to the extent like this. And it ends up being, actually, let me get a little stiffer fabric here. So I've seen them take it and fold it into what we call here is something called prairie points. And then this, of course, is cut off correctly straight. And then they would add another one next to it. So it would be like this. And then that is their border. They end up with these triangle borders. Yeah, folded. Okay, yeah, we do that too. We could actually call that prairie points here. And that's really cool. Takes a lot of time, and but it's a beautiful when it's done. So basically, when you're done, you end up with this gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous ribbon. And I have about a yard right here that we made very quickly. So there's a yard right here. Now, this could be used to adorn the side of a page if you wanted to. Let me grab a journal real quick. Excuse the noise. Okay. Let's see here. What do I have? Okay. So here's a journal. So I could take this and I could just attach it along the edge and get that beautiful look along the edge. It is shabby and boho. That's what I like about it. Or as I said, you know, I took pockets. So here's a little pocket. You can also have your little card. This could be a pocket where you could glue it on 3 sides. Or you could glue it this way, however you want it, and you have a pocket right here. You could actually use it as a pocket this way, which is fun. You can use it, of course, to tuck into places. So it doesn't necessarily go with this theme, but we'll tuck it in. So I could just simply tuck it in. Let's put one a little brighter in there. There we go. So I can just tuck it in And, you know, that's just absolutely gorgeous, I think, as well. And it doesn't take a lot of time. It doesn't take a lot of, and then up the top, could just tuck them in like that. And when that full tuck to put in, you know, this book belongs to, I have a stamp that says this book belongs to, so it would be neat to stamp that on here and have that in a front pocket right there for the person to pull out. So it's just that shabby chic look, absolutely, but it's boho fabric that we've used. So once I did that, I'll just kind of show you how it's real simple. Now, if you didn't have, my thought process is, sorry, I'm a little all over here. So as I said, my thought was that this would be used for gift wrapping or for embellishing or any of those things. Is it to just take a note card, and I could actually embellish, could take, in fact, we'll kind of do it the easy way. I have this stamp on my desk here. So I'm just going to ink it up. It's just, I don't know if it's like chicken wire or what here. And I'm going to grab a piece of scrap here so I don't end up, let's see here. And I'm just going to go ahead and stamp. And then I'm going to turn it. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp. So this one I just stamped. And then I could just ink around the edges if I wanted to. Looks like it's time for me to get a new ink pad. I can see some of the felting is coming off onto my project. So I could ink it first. Give it that distressed look. Just blending some of the inks. So it's kind of a smeared look. And then all I'm going to do is grab a piece of my ribbon, my boho ribbon. We'll use what we just made. And I'm going to just add it to the top. So then all I did, I think we'll add it this way on here. And if I wanted a certain spot, I could just do it there. So let's say I wanted this. I could just cut it and sew that piece. Hi, Jen. How are you? Hope you're having a great Sunday. I'm just here making some more things out of those boho scraps that you ladies have been ordering from me. I want to make sure I give you some more ideas. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to lay it on here, take it to my sewing machine, and I'm going to use a zigzag this time. And I'm using it at a 0.3 on my machine. You can use whatever you want, whatever you're comfortable with. And then I'm just going to do a quick zigzag, excuse me, along the top here. And I do go off the card because I'm going to snip wherever that fabric is. So once we're done, I just use my scissors and be very careful. These scissors were very sharp. You can see here I cut my finger. I actually cut the meaty part of my finger by doing that. It hurt and it bled for a very long time. And then you end up with something that looks like this. It's just absolutely adorable. Yes, you do have a lot of these coming, Jen. That's why I'm giving everybody some ideas. So then I thought, well, I have all these gold and silver sequins that are going to be coming in my next boho kit, but I thought I would get them out, and I thought, what would be better than adding some bling? So all I'm going to do is use my Fabri-Tac. I'm just putting a dot of glue, and I'm taking one of these gorgeous sequins, and we're going to bedazzle this up a little bit. And I'm going to use silver and gold on this one. I do need to get something to hold this down onto the fabric. And you could sew these across if you wanted to, but I'm just gonna glue them down. Fabri-Tac works great. So I'm just putting a dollop of glue on there and just putting these beautiful sequins on here. And it does take a little bit for the Fabri-Tac. So just make sure that you press it down all the way. And it will grab and be just fine. All right, so now I'm going to do my silver and then my gold. And I'm just alternating these sequins. So another thing, you know, I'm not using a ton of supplies. Sequins are very reasonably priced. If you go to like your regular craft store, Michael's or Joann's or whatever craft store you have. These gold and silver sequins I got at Michael's. I got them a while ago. I've had them for a while, but I just thought they just remind me of Boho. So whoops, there were two sequins there. I wondered why that wasn't. And look at that. Isn't that beautiful? All we did is just take some sequins, glue them down. Now, if you wanted to, you could sew across there and it would be fine, you know, if you were worried about them coming off. But I'm not concerned that they'll come off. But isn't that beautiful? Just, oh my gosh, I just think that's gorgeous. And so then I could do the same thing with these. You know, I could just do 3. On this one, I'm just going to do 3. And I'm going to do them all gold. That one's a little bigger than I wanted, so let me grab a different one. Oh, now I am stuck to my fingers. And all I'm doing is just pressing them down. Oops. Pressed a little too hard on this one. And this one just has a little bit of bling, but just enough to make this so gorgeous. So very, very simple. Not a lot of supplies needed. And it just really looks pretty. You know, you could bead with these. You could add some beads if you wanted. You could do all kinds of things. This one I'm just adding silver to get a little different look. And there you go. So I hope you guys like these cards. It doesn't take a lot of supply. They're beautiful. Yeah, they are a little tricky to work with. But once you get them down, they're all right. They're fine once you get them down. You know, make some little envelopes. You know, use some, I'm going to put some little tiny sequins on here. I'm just going to do 3 little tiny sequins. And I'm going to put them close together. All right, so let me just press them down. There we go. And so then you have this little envelope with just these 3 little sequins to give it a little bit of sparkle. So fun, fun, fun. Use up those scraps. If you haven't if you haven't gone over to my shop and purchased those boho scraps, I highly suggest you run over there and get them because I am going to be raising the prices on them soon. The shipping is getting extremely expensive. Shipping's always expensive, but especially when you're getting things internationally, the shipping's getting very expensive. So um, get them while they last. I decided not to raise this bunch that I have. Um, that I will keep them the price that they are, even though I paid a little higher shipping on this group of fabric. But the next group of fabric, I'm probably going to have to raise a little bit because I do have to cover that shipping cost. So anyway, I hope that you get your scraps out. I hope you grab yourself some sequins or some gems or some, even if you don't have sequins, but like this is just plain, these are just plain white buttons. And let me add these real quick. So I can take and just add, oops, something a little darker here. I could just take this and I could just add these cute little buttons on there if I didn't have sequins and still a really cute effect. Wouldn't that be cute? And now it doesn't just have to go in a boho journal. It can go in a boho journal, but it could also go in a sewing journal. It could go in a journal that, you have a lot of fabrics in. Just by adding these buttons, it changes the look completely. And it still gives you a very shabby chic look for not a lot of supplies. Look at that. Isn't that adorable? I love that. So you end up with these just gorgeous pieces. Didn't take me long at all to make these, and it didn't take a lot of supplies. So I hope you guys go over and grab those or use up the ones that you have. Remember, use these also for gift wrapping. Once you make it, what an adorable little bow it can make. These would be cute on gifts. And you just get this boho shabby chic look. If you didn't want to tie it in a bow, you could just simply leave it like that. You could even take it, fold it in half if it was long enough, and use it as a closure for a book if you wanted to. So that's another way you can use it. So this could be a closure, but lots of different ways you can use this boho ribbon. So I hope that you check that out. If you use it, if you use my ideas, please send me a picture. Send me a picture through Etsy. You can find me on Facebook at Reid, RACHELREID. If you can't find me there, you're welcome to email me at rachelreid2014@gmail.com. But I would love to see how you're using those boho fabrics and what kind of little cards you're making. I think these are fun. These are also fun for Happy Mail. I mean, who wouldn't love to get a little note on one of these just to say hello when I'm thinking about you? And you could slip that in an envelope. It's not going to cost you any more money because all these fabrics are lightweight. And that wouldn't that be just a cute little note card to send somebody to just say, hey, I'm thinking I wanted you to know. And all it's going to cost you is a 50-cent postage stamp. And you're going to send this beautiful art piece to someone. So I hope that gives you guys some ideas. I hope I inspired you a little bit today to get out some fabric scraps and paper scraps. Like I said, this is a perfect time of year to buy these note cards because they're on sale everywhere. It's school time. Even though I didn't need them, I still bought 4 more packs of them because I love to use them for journal cards and things like that. So just a few ideas that I thought you guys might like tonight. The other thing I was thinking, and I'll tell you real quick, I was thinking about doing another little idea, and that was to take one of these journaling cards and make this my base. And then to make a little scrap pad on top of it. So I guess we're only at 42 minutes. So I'll make one more quick project for you guys. And then you'll have lots of ideas to go and play with this week. So I'm going to take this little stencil that I've been using, and I'm just lightly rubbing over. And there are all kinds of really neat stencils out there. If you guys haven't checked out Linda Israel, she makes some amazing stencils. And she actually has, I believe, a Stencil of the Month club. But she designs all of her own stencils, and so she has some really cool ones. So my thought was to take this like this, make this my base. Okay, and then I'm going to go grab a sheet of coffee dyed paper. So if you'll give me just a second, I'm going to grab a piece of coffee dyed paper. Okay, so I have this piece of coffee dyed paper, and it's a dark piece, so I think I need to grunge this up a little bit more. So I'm just taking and kind of rubbing over the white just to make it a little bit darker. Okay. So now I'm going to take my coffee dyed paper, and let me see here. What I'm thinking, and you guys, I'm totally making this up on the fly, so bear with me here. Let's see. I'm just folding it to be a little smaller than the card that we just made. So the card's I think it's a 3x5 card, so maybe just a little smaller than that. And I'm just tearing the paper. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm just tearing this paper because I want kind of an organic look to it. I'm going to go down and tear this as well. Sorry, I didn't mean to be out of frame. So I'm just kind of making an organic look. And you guys have kind of seen me make these before, but I've never done it with a note card behind it. I know, I like it better than stamping too. Sometimes I just like to do a little. Okay, so I have just two pieces of coffee dyed paper here, and I want it to be shorter than. So now I have 4. I'm just kind of layering them up. And notice that I'm keeping them kind of a little bit, I don't know if you can see that. Can you see I'm just staggering them? Okay, now I'm going to take and I'm going to lay this down, and I want it pretty close. It's about a 1/16 of an inch. Now what I'm doing is I'm just taking my Tim Holtz ink and I'm going around those edges, and I'm just darkening up the bottoms of those edges, okay? And then I can go up the side if I want just a little bit. Now, here's the cool thing about what we just did. Now, I've just added a little more dimension. I just slide those papers up a smidge, and you can now see the definition. See that? The definition of each of the pages. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go around. And then what I have to do, though, is right here, you have to bend this over so that you can kind of seal this little notebook. Okay, and it now becomes a little notebook. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this little notebook right here. And I'm just simply going to take my stapler and I'm stapling that. Okay. Now what I want to do is take my fabric ribbon that we've been playing with, and I'm going to add a little decoration on the top. So I'm taking it, putting it in my sewing machine using the zigzag. I'm putting it at the top. You are going to have to be careful because we did put a staple in there. So go slow. Don't go fast on your machine. I don't want you breaking needles and blaming me, because you will break a needle if you hit that. Okay, so I'm stopping there. I'm going to trim that off, and look at, we just made this cute little booklet with this fabric on top that can go in a journal. And the cool thing about that is you can even journal right here if you want, kind of as a hidden journal spot. You could make a little pocket in there if you wanted, but now we've made this cute little notebook. And I'm just going to take my ink pad and just darken the sides a little bit. But real simple, didn't use a lot of supplies again, using up those scraps, and made this adorable, adorable little booklet. Now, because I just want a little something here, looking for my, okay, so now I'm taking the same stencil that we've been using, you guys, and this time I'm only going to take the flower, and I know you can't see very well, but I'm only going to stencil that flower in there. So there we go. So now I have this little flower. It's a nice flat. It's going to go in. It's lightweight. It's going to go in my journal. It's not going to be bulky. It's not going to make my journal stick out. And I could even do something different on each little page. So I could go here and I could do this little filigree. Let's do it. Add this little filigree right here. So on page 2, we added the filigree. On page 3, I could go ahead and I could add this little piece. Don't know what it is, but we're going to add it. We added some little grass, little corner piece. And then on the back page, let's add this flower. We'll let this flower kind of go over the page a little bit. I'll just do it light. There we go. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? And it's so a boho theme, and take a lot of things, and if I wanted to, I could, of course, add those sequins at the top, you know, add a few up there. And we have a gorgeous little flip book. What do you guys think? You like those? So just another thing to just use up those scraps, use up those things. So what a great way to just, you know, make a bunch of this fabric ribbon. And then you could sit on the couch at night with a stack of note cards and some scrap papers, and you could make these little booklets. And even if you didn't want to use the boho fabric, it would be just as easy to take and use, you know, you could use lace scraps or fabric scraps or anything to make these adorable little booklets. So I hope, hi Pat, how are you? Sorry I didn't see, I was talking too much. So I hope you guys like that. I hope that gives you some more ideas for those boho scrap packs that I sell in my shop. And for those of you who bought them at my live sale, I hope this gives you a couple of ideas of how to use them. You know, these little pockets are simple. These are just note cards. What a great way to just use up those scraps If you don't have sequins, like I said, use buttons. You guys, if you don't have buttons, use a hole punch. Simply take some piece of cardstock or something. Let me grab something. Let's see here. What do I have on my desk here? I'll just take this little notepad here. And this is some yellow. It's kind of a golden yellow. But you know what? I can take this little hole punch if I wanted to, and I could add, that's kind of big. So let me get a regular size hole punch. I thought they were going to be a little smaller than that. Sorry, guys. Oh, where's my hole punch? Where's my hole punch? Here it is. All right. So I'm just taking a regular old school hole punch, punching 3 holes. I could just as easily put these 3 little hole punched holes on here if I wanted to, and still get a cute little look. Okay, so in a hole punch. If you don't have sequins, you don't have buttons, if you don't have a hole punch, I mean, for gosh sakes, we could use any sort of punch that we had. And I have one right here. It's a little flower. I don't know if it'll punch this really well. Let's try it. Oh yeah, it did. Look, I could take this off. I could add this adorable little center of here, and then I could just take a pen, a marker, whatever, and I could just put a little dot in the middle, and we've created a flower, and we've created this cute little embellishment with not a lot of supplies. So just a few ideas for you guys to use. I hope you like these ideas. I hope you use them. Hey, if you make one of these, please send me a picture so that I can see what you've made. I hope everybody has a wonderful Sunday. Thanks again for all of your support. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Also, it's very helpful if you purchase things from people's Etsy shops, mine or anybody's shop. Just leave a comment for them. Even if you just leave them some stars, leave them some stars. Comment on videos, even if you're just commenting to say, hey, I like the project. That helps get us over on the right-hand side. I don't get any money from this, but it's nice to get my video up for more people to see. If you like this video, copy the link, share it with your friends. As many people as possible that can see this and can continue to do these amazing crafts is great. So hope everybody has a wonderful Sunday. Thanks for watching. I appreciate everybody who watches, excuse me. And I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day and a great week. Everybody.